Damon Bruce, brought to you by Ike Sandwiches. It is great to have you here. The 49ers are down 9 with no timeouts, looking to score a touchdown. They're right on the doorstep of the Vikings, but they got no timeouts. They're down 9, and the reason why we're here all together right now is it's the 2-minute warning. Welcome. A little post-game and Damon before the game even goes final. It is great to have you here today. Thank you so much for being a part of this channel. Like and subscribe. If you could hit that like button right now, it's going to make this live stream, which is also brought to you by BetUS, go even further. And I'll tell you, all the criticism that the 49ers are going to catch today, they've earned it. I mean, they're going to take this loss here in Minnesota. Even if they score here, their chances of everything going their way and coming out and actually winning this game are very slim, if not none. This was a day where the underperformance was team-wide, and some of the most trusted guys on this team, Trent Williams is having a bad game today. There are only 2 49ers that are having performances that I think you can be proud of this afternoon. Jordan Mason has done what he's been asked to do yet again 2 weeks in a row now. And Fred Warner has had a spectacular football game. I don't know if spectacular football game could be attached to anyone else in this game that wore a 49ers uniform. It didn't seem to be a day of good coordination from this coaching staff. It doesn't seem to be a day where anyone came out ready to play, really. You know, you don't see a lot of opening drive 3 and outs from the 49ers, and that's what you got today. That was unimpressive from the 49ers. It has been an unimpressive afternoon of football. And, you know, there's going to be a lot of finger pointing going around. I think you also got to point some fingers here at the Minnesota Vikings and say they had a game plan that is certainly working for them to this point in the game. And now the 49ers are looking at a 3rd and 1. And geez, they threw a backwards pass that was almost picked off, a screen to Deebo that was nearly picked off, and they lost, about 5 yards on that play. What a terrible play. You had Van Ginkel make basically the exact same fucking play last week against Sam Darnold, and he was nearly all over that one. Van Ginkel nearly did to Brock Purdy what he did to Danny Dimes just the week before. I said Darnold, pardon me. Darnold is having a day where you can't even really criticize what's going on because of that backwards action. The 49ers have to settle for a 31-yard field goal attempt. It is good, but it is 23-17. Minnesota about to get the ball. If the 49ers are going to try an onside kick, which they obviously will, they're going to have to declare that with the new rule, and they were going to have to do that anyways because they are without a timeout. So all the Minnesota Vikings need to do to win this game is recover an onside kick. And this has not been a good day of 49ers football. I hope you're having a good day in spite of that. I've been having a hell of a weekend. I just flew home from Pasadena and landed about an hour before this game kicked off. Went and saw my Hoosiers work over the UCLA Bruins in the Rose Bowl. I'll have a lot to say about that on my 11 a.m. show on Monday, but we are here to talk 49ers football, and this is a day that is not cloaked in glory. You know, Brandon Staley, Nick Sorensen, you know, the defensive mastermind wizard and the defensive coordinator. How are you letting 2 safeties try to cover Justin Jefferson, who dropped a 97-yard touchdown? I mean, Sam Darnold threw a beautiful ball there right out of his own end zone. He got all the time in the world he needed to deliver that ball. And you had Jair Brown and Odom completely out of their league with Justin Jefferson. All right, here is we declare we're about to kick an onside kick declaration. The proper signal flares have apparently been put up. The 49ers are going to attempt an onside kick. They've sent the Vikings the email and the NFL the email that they're going to attempt the onside kick. So I guess they're going to be allowed to attempt an onside kick here. And, of course, there is a timeout by Minnesota because onside kicks now are, some sort of I guess you don't practice for them maybe anymore because you don't think you're going to run into too many of them. But anyways, a timeout here for Minnesota that feels like it's just going to delay the conclusion. This is the entire game right here. If the 49ers do not come up with an onside kick return, it is curtains. It is victory formation for Sam Darnold. And just look, how good is he going to feel about this? Sam Darnold thrown into the Vikings starting mix with the injury to, the rookie that they have drafted to be their future. I saw the very interesting stat today that Sam Darnold is the youngest player in NFL history to start for 4 different franchises. He's only 27 years old. Has he found a home in Minnesota? I don't know. Oh, a little trickeration from Moody. That ball didn't even go 10 yards. Vikings jump all over it. And this ball game is over. That was a terrible onside kick from Moody, who didn't even use a tee. Just looked like he had the ball sitting sideways where he was going to kick it from. And now it's going to be victory formation. And I'll tell you, the 49ers have absolutely earned their way to a loss in this football game. And there is no doubt about that. Again, great to have you here. We're about to get into this one, and I have a feeling it's going to be a little bit of a bumpy ride for the 49ers in this post-game stream. But as always, we are brought to you by my very good friend, Ike of Ike Sandwiches. I want you to think about bringing an Ike sandwich to your mouth this week. I want you to go to Ike's this week. Use that app to download that app. Start earning your way towards free sandwiches. My man Ike is the man. Love my guys at the Dubliner. They are back for this football season. The official bar of the Damon Brew Show is the Dubliner in West Portal in San Francisco. Love those guys. That's got to be an angry bar right now. I have a feeling we're about to have an angry chat room. And look, I went to BetUS this week, put a little jingle jangle on the 49ers. Should have taken Minnesota on the money, honey. I mean, they had no problem really winning this one today. The 49ers never led. A 23-17 coach is now hugging at midfield. That is your final. And officially welcome here to Damon Bruce Plus. If you're just joining us, it's good to have you. It was not a good day for the 49ers. Check out BetUS, by the way, now offering 150% on the first 3 deposits up to $2,000, and just use promo code YouTube150 for that to happen. No promo codes could have saved the 49ers bacon this afternoon. They just came out sloppy. They came out in disarray. Again, the game opened with them receiving the opening kickoff and taking a 3 and out. Like right there, this day doesn't feel like it's off to a good start. Even a Kyle Shanahan hater would have to admit that he knows how to script opening drives, and you don't see an awful lot of 3 and outs from Kyle Shanahan. But that's what you saw in this opening drive today. And then it took a while for things to get going. Jordan Mason started playing a little bit of bully ball in the second quarter. And really, it was Viking mistakes that probably kept the 49ers in this game. And you can say, look, was it a mistake to fumble on the goal line, Aaron Jones? Yeah, it was. It was also an incredible play by Fred Warner with another peanut punch 2 weeks in a row. Fred Warner causes a peanut punch level fumble. He did this one to save a touchdown because that happened right on the 1 yard line. And the 49ers did answer with a 99-yard touchdown drive. But they didn't have enough game, and they didn't stop the Vikings on their final offensive possession beyond the victory formation. Couldn't get off the field on third down. Could not get off the field on third down. Did Brandon Ayuk put on a uniform today? The $30 million man, when it's all said and done, what did Brandon Ayuk finish with? Brandon Ayuk finished with 4 catches for 43 yards. It's actually better than I thought. That's a better day out of Brandon Ayuk than I thought I saw with my own 2 eyes watching this game. But you had, Brandon Ayuk only catch 2 more balls than Eric Saubert. You had Juwan Jennings held to 2 catches today. Deebo had 8 catches, 110 yards, but he did not find the end zone. Kittle, 7 catches, 76 yards. But it was just an unimpressive afternoon of 49er football. There's no doubt about that. Again, please hit like and subscribe. Do it right now if you would, please, to get this live stream to grow and reach all corners of YouTube. And, you know, I can't even think of the amount of times that we criticized Trent Williams, and Trent Williams came out and played very impressively in week 1 against the New York Jets. He did not have a good game today. Trent Williams sucked today. You know, he had a false start to put the 49ers in terrible field position early in the game. He gave up a sack on a bull rush. He then missed a sack around the other, you know, there was just a naked blitzer coming off, and it wasn't Trent Williams' fault, but Trent is normally the kind of guy who sees the problem and stops it. He didn't on that one. He gave up an inside blitz. Brian Flores is the guy I said I was worried about the most, and he dialed up the right blitzes at the right times today. Brock Purdy was sacked 6 times. 6 times in this game. He also had that I forgot to hold the football fumble where he cocked his hand back and the ball just came out of his hand. There was no contact on him. He just fumbled the ball away in a very normal throwing motion, and that was a game where you let Sam Darnold flip a field for a 97-yard touchdown because you got 2 safeties covering Justin Jefferson. What? You know, that's almost as bad as the Steve Wilks 0 blitz, isn't it? In terms of what would you say it is you're doing here defensively today? I thought it was bad communication in the defensive backs had bad communication today. That Naylor touchdown. He was as wide open as anybody has ever been catching a touchdown pass in the NFL. He had Charvarius Ward making the wrong decision, and Charvarius Ward isn't the kind of guy who normally makes wrong decisions, so I don't know where the communication should have been on that, from coaches to players, from players amongst each other, but that was just, that was not a good day of football. Today is a day that you expect a team that didn't have its starting left tackle and its starting wide receiver be a little rusty. Brandon Ayuk is still covered, I guess, in a little bit of rust from his holdout. Trent Williams looked like he wasn't going to be rusty. Today, he felt a little rusty. And at all times, you got to give some credit to the opponent here. And the Minnesota Vikings were just better today. They won this game on the line of scrimmage. The offensive line, which we were ballyhooing a week ago, regressed this afternoon. They regressed. Minnesota was a better challenge and answered more bells to beat the 49ers than the New York Jets were able to, and that's why they were able to do it. Not a great afternoon. Again, Deebo had a good day. Deebo had a good day. Will you shill for Shanahan still? Look, I'm here to tell you that Kyle Shanahan, with today's loss, is a hell of a football coach. But his football team did not have a good day today. I'll also say that Kyle Shanahan didn't almost fumble a punt away. Kyle Shanahan didn't do a lousy job that tip drill interception that Purdy had. Is that on Kyle Shanahan, or did his team not perform? Look, you criticize whoever you want today. I'm not going to tell you to lay off anybody, because this was a bad football game of a team that has, as big of aspirations as any team in football is allowed to have. So not a great start. Not a great start. I hate backwards passes, Buster Bratmus. Sometimes when it's set up the right way, it really pops, but not today. Not today. It was a bad day for the Niners. Let's not pretend. I'm not here to make any excuses. That was not a good afternoon of football. And for whatever reason, going to Minnesota is now, I think, maybe among the hardest things for this team to do as a franchise and find a win. They will be in their 33rd year of they have won in Minnesota, but 33 years in a row when we get to next season. And I don't know if the Vikings are going to be on the schedule. Probably not. So, it'll probably get to a 35th, 36th season in a row before you see the Vikings on the schedule again in Minnesota. It's going to be a long time. And for whatever reason, they cannot win in Minnesota. I guess you shouldn't ignore history. You shouldn't ignore history. Let's see. We got an awful lot of people in the room right now. Not an awful lot of likes. We'd like to see that go up a little bit. We're going to be here with you a while. We're going to absolutely be taking care of those that take care of me. Again, we break for super chats, of course, but we thank you very much for being here. Just hit like and subscribe to support this channel. I want to go ahead and share a screen with you here. I want to bring up just the box score of this game now that it is absolutely final. And look at that. You know, again, Brock Purdy. It wasn't a good day for Brock, but he still threw for over 300 yards when he had really not a lot of pressure. He turned the ball over twice, the interception and the fumble, but he was sacked 6 times. Still, though, Brock Purdy throws for over 300 yards. Jordan Mason did what he was asked to do. 20 carries, 100 yards. Isaac Guerrero was given 1 carry, did nothing, and clearly got doghoused. Deebo Samuel isn't fooling anybody when he is coming out of the backfield with a football in his hand anymore. Deebo Samuel hasn't made a play out of the backfield that has really popped as a runner in a season and 2 games. He didn't really do it at all last year. Teams are on to him. I think using Deebo as a running back and anything other than a decoy isn't getting you nearly the return that you used to have. But again, Deebo, 8 catches, 110 yards. Kittle, 7 catches, 76 yards. But look at this right here. Justin Jefferson, 4 catches, 133 yards with this long and 97, the longest play of his young career. And it was a terrible defense that allowed that to happen. It was a terrible choice to ask Odom, and then, you know, Jair Alexander was the over-the-top safety help, and he didn't help. He didn't help at all. That wasn't good. That was not good. Again, there are 2 players I am confident in saying had a good day today. Jordan Mason and Fred Warner. As a matter of fact, Heck Dell says if everyone played with the same intensity as Fred Warner, we'd be hoisting a Lombardi. He was awesome again this afternoon. But this team just cannot win in Minnesota. I can't explain it. It really doesn't make much sense at all. But this team cannot win in Minnesota. And the 49ers just got a little bullied. You know, sometimes you lose a game because you lose a football game. To lose a game on the line of scrimmage, when you're actually in a few moments getting to Darnold, a couple of sacks for Bosa this afternoon, this was a day where no one was on it. And I don't know. I mean, maybe Kyle Shanahan knew about that when the plane landed. Maybe he could just feel my team's a little funny, a little tight, a little weird, a little off, a little something. It was an ugly day. It was an ugly day. And again, Trent Williams, you're one of the guys who is not allowed to have a bad game. You know, Trent Williams is one of the highest paid tackles and one of the best tackles in football. You can't let him let you down. And I felt like he let the team down a little bit today. And Brandon Ayuk, for a guy making $30 million, he ain't playing like it. Not yet. Probably be a couple more weeks till he's really himself again. You know, you can see a couple of guys, I thought today, who didn't have an off season. I thought you could see it today. Damon, why didn't they kick a field goal at 2:18? Could have gotten the ball back with 45 seconds left. Kyle with some Super Bowl level game management. Yeah, I mean, sure, that could have. Here's the thing: I don't think they were going to get back into it, but might they have had a chance to stop the clock and climb back into it a little bit better right there? Sure. But that's not where the game was lost in that decision. That's not where the game was lost. The game got lost on the line of scrimmage. That's where the game was lost. And the game was lost with Darnold just hitting a couple of big plays when he needed them the most. I mean, nothing's going to be bigger than that 97-yard touchdown. That might be the longest touchdown in the NFL all season. Darnold got to flip the field with that pass to Justin Jefferson right after the 49ers failed to score on 4th and goal. That ball got tipped at the line of scrimmage, by the way. But, if Bob Fitzgerald somewhere said, that's a 14-point swing. And it was. You go from getting denied a touchdown and at least saying, well, it sucks that you didn't score a touchdown, but at least the Vikings are about as backed up as a football team could be. And that didn't help. That didn't help because Darnold just uncorked one over the entire defense as Justin Jefferson outran the entire defense. I also thought, looking at the moments that changed this game, that the Darnold 27-yard strike to Jalen Naylor with about 7 minutes to play left in the fourth quarter, that was just, I don't know if that was a big third down, but that was a drive where they just kept on converting third downs and they gobbled precious remaining minutes on the clock as the 49ers could not get off the field. And it wasn't good. They got a punt blocked. They had a punt blocked in this game. They nearly had Jacob Cowing fumble a punt recovery away. They had Deebo Samuel taking a ball out of the end zone with like a half-hearted sort of burst out of the end zone. He got buried. Renardo Green. So Deebo gets it out to the 20, but then Renardo Green got a penalty. So now you're starting at the 10-yard line. That's when you had Trent Williams' false start. So now you're looking at, 1st and 15 from your own 5. And it wasn't a day that I don't think the 49ers can learn a lot from the tape. Just don't play like that again. I didn't feel like the Vikings did anything schematically that ruined their afternoon other than, playing the pass in the middle of the field pretty well today. Tip balls, tip drills. They got to Purdy 6 times. 6 times. You're going to complain about coaching all you want. Yeah, I'm not going to stop you today. If you want to complain about coaching and put it all on Kyle, you go right ahead. But your quarterback gets sacked 6 times. You have a punt blocked. You have special teams miscues in the return game. And look, man. It's a little too early in the year to be calling for anybody's job or anything like that. But when it comes to just lackluster special teams play, it feels like the 49ers have that dotted every single time I'm looking up. It feels like the 49ers have made a special teams mistake in one way or another every time that I look up. 30 games in a row, there's been something there. No Hawkinson, no Addison. What's the excuse? I'm done with this hack fraud Shanahan. A lot of people will still shill for him. Look, thanks for the super chat. Your coach lost a game today. The team lost a game. Shanahan is not a hack nor a fraud. Let's dial that back just a little. If you thought the 49ers were going undefeated, you're the biggest 49er dick licker in the world. They weren't going undefeated this year. But this was a loss that, especially with Sam Darnold out there, is even harder to swallow. All the complaining about the 49ers, the Purdy haters are going to be out in full force. We all know that. The Purdy haters are going to be out in full force. The Shanahan haters, any loss is going to have them out in full force. Kyle was calling bad plays. Were those bad plays? Were those totally bad plays, or were they not executed because either the pass protection broke down or Brandon Ayuk is still worried about holding out? Defense didn't fire today. The offense didn't fire today. But you're 1-1 with 15 more football games to play. So if you want to get off the bandwagon, please just get off right now. If you can't handle a 1-1 start, maybe football's not for you. Maybe football is not for you. So because Nick Bosa got up off the field. At one point in this game, you had Nick Bosa and Justin Jefferson both lying on the field hurt. It's like $500 million in NFL contracts laying there, right? Jefferson did not return to this game. Nick Bosa did. And I'm going to tell you, I'd rather Nick Bosa be around the rest of the season than beat the Minnesota Vikings. I will tell you with no uncertainty whatsoever that every single goal that the 49ers brought into this season can still be accomplished. This is not a time to throw the entire season and the baby and the bathwater and Kyle and Brock and everybody out all at the same time. But that offensive line play was not good. And that defense today was not good. And I felt the communication today was not good. That was just a bad day of disconnected football out of the San Francisco 49ers. And if anyone tries to explain it away, they're fooling themselves. By the way, Drew, thank you very much. They should have kicked the field goal on that last drive as soon as they got it within distance. That's awful game management by Kyle. So much time wasted to only kick a field goal. Yeah, but Kyle's going to play for a touchdown until the touchdown doesn't happen. And I think the teams do that. I'm not going to crush him for that. I'm not. That to me is not something that I think is that's why they lost level mistake. There was a lot of reasons why they lost this game today. What we gotta thank you, Red Jet. Trap game, definitely trapping today. On to the next. Tighten up and stay strong. Yeah. I mean, that's the way you got to look at it. Nobody got hurt. So that made your day a little bit better. Again, fire this coach. Look, I'm sure Grant's doing a show right now. You can go ahead and do that over on his channel. We're not doing that over here. What we are over here are adults who have been through several football seasons together and then realize that panicking about your team at 1-1 through 2 weeks and trying to frame the entire year as to what they may not be as instead of what could still happen is just patently absurd. Patently absurd. There is not a single goal that the 49ers cannot still accomplish. But today was a bad showing. There will be bad football games. I guess you didn't know that. I thought maybe you were under the impression that 17-0 is not only a reality, but it's commonly executed. And that's what the 49ers should be. And anything else means it's a disappointment. The 49ers go on to win the Super Bowl. How many people will not have even known about it or heard about it because they tuned out after that Vikings loss in week 2? I'm guessing the answer is none of you. So stop saying stupid shit just to sound like a tough guy in the chat or like you care more about winning than the others who understand as rational adults that sometimes you lose football games in the National Football League. And if you don't believe that this league is tough, as a 9-point underdog, the Las Vegas Raiders have gone into Baltimore to send the Ravens to 0-2 and are about to win 26-3. I guess if the Ravens can lose at home to the Raiders, I guess the 49ers can lose at home in a city that they haven't won in 32 years without me shitting my pants as if today were the first football game I have ever seen. Look, if this was your first football game, I understand why you're rattled. But if you have ever watched a season of football, today's not the day to throw the entire season down the toilet. Sam Darnold outplayed Purdy. All right, Adrian, let's look at that. Because I think that Justin Jefferson, before he got hurt, was outplaying the 49ers. But I don't know if we can say that Brock Purdy got outplayed. Let's see. Brock Purdy threw for more yards. He was sacked 6 times. Only 3 for Sam Darnold. You know what? Sure. He was outplayed. Was he totally crushed? No. Let's take 97 yards off this total, though. Sam Darnold is one pass away from having 97 fewer yards, right? So I'm going to do the math for you. That's 268 minus 97. So you take one play away from Sam Darnold. Brock Purdy outpassed him 319 to 171. This 10-yard average, again, when you have a 97-yard play, it goes bonkers. But just look at the quarterback rating alone. 109 to 101. That is not a severe outplaying. Not at all. By the way, when I was over there, if I missed any super chats, I apologize, but I thank you so much for being here. Hit like and subscribe to the channel, and I hope you plan on being back here each and every week at the 2-minute warning. If you are looking for somebody to help stroke your anxiety because you're new at watching football, this is not the channel for you. This won't be the show for you all year long. By the way, Odom and Brown gave that up. They certainly did to Justin Jefferson. You want to say Nick Sorensen, Brandon Staley, why are you running a defensive cover where you got two safeties on Justin Jefferson? That's a legitimate question. That's a legitimate question. Mario says, Damon, could you please do the Ralph impression and cheer up everyone?
Yeah, like two things can be equally true. The 49ers had a bad football game, yet they also remain a pretty good football team. So, I'm not going to shit my pants. Neither should you.
That's my best advice to you. Probably don't totally shit your pants today. Sausalito Steve putting $15 in the ganja jar. Thank you very much, Sausalito Steve. Appreciate that. Oh, you can't even see the ganja jar because the mini helmet got in the way. Look at this. I'll move the mini helmet. By the way, I should replace the 49ers big helmet with a mini helmet today because that's the kind of effort they put out there. But the JJ Raider ganja jar is officially open and ready for business. So thank you very much if you stuff a buck in there. Look, not a good day. By the way, if you're interested in helmets, check out greengridiron.com. In the link on the description of this video, use promo code Bruce at checkout and you're going to save some money. Coolest helmets you're going to find anywhere. I might have to get myself an Indiana football helmet. They're probably not going to be selling a lot of UCLA football helmets. Welcome to the Big Ten. More on that come Monday. I hope you like and subscribe. We do a live show if you're new here every single day, Monday through Friday at 11 a.m. West Coast time, 2 p.m. East Coast time. Whole bunch of Niners being discussed at all times, but I'm not just a 49er content creator, but boy, no one moves the needles like the 49ers, but they didn't move the needle today. Didn't move it today. The proof of the all-hands-on-deck sloppy start was everywhere you wanted to find it. It was pretty easy to see. They were out of rhythm, out of sync. Just not look, it's a burn the tape kind of an afternoon. What are you going to learn from this game? Don't let your starting quarterback get sacked 6 times. Do you need to watch the game tape to know that, to learn that, to embrace that? By the way, there's a couple happy Raiders fans in here. Is Aiden Hutchinson better than Nick Bosa right now? Aiden Hutchinson had 5 sacks, I believe, today. I mean, I've been watching one game. I've not been bouncing around the dial. I'm making them, taking a ton of notes and watching this game. But Aiden Hutchinson had a 5-sack day. Alvin Kamara had a 5-touchdown day. I know that for a fact because I'm going up against him in fantasy today. So, I think I'm going into the loss column. Super Bowl hangover, broken metronome. I don't know if this was a Super Bowl hangover as much as it was they can't win in Minnesota. How about this? We will no longer be picking the 49ers to win in Minnesota until we see it with our own two eyes. We're going to embrace that trend going forward, certainly as bettors. And I'll tell you once again to check out BetUS. BetUS offering 150% off the first 3 deposits up to $2K. Use the promo code YouTube150 to make that happen. But this wasn't good. Again, 49ers did not address the O-line in the draft for years. Well, they added Dominic Pooney, but today Dominic Pooney wasn't nearly the chemistry-changing difference it felt like he was last week. 49ers had a shorter week to prepare, but that is absolutely not going to be accepted as an excuse to lose this game. The game was, an early game for them. Well, you know what? You live on the West Coast. So whenever you get on an airplane and fly to the Midwest or the East Coast, that's just the deal there is. I don't want to hear anything about that. Set your alarm earlier all season long. Wake up 2 hours earlier than you normally do while you're still on the West Coast. And look, I mean, if I have to shove a professional athlete out of bed and say, wakey, wakey, eggs and bakey, that's pathetic. They got alarm clocks to fix that shit. Dick liquor, hard to swallow. What is Stormy Daniels coaching? All right, Phillip. Bravo to that. Bravo to that. Oh, boy. Here we go. Dennis, Tom Sula was never given enough time to develop his winning culture. Look, it was not a good day. You want to come out, forks out for Shanahan and Brock and Ayuk and Trent Williams and Sorensen, you go right ahead. You go right ahead. I'm not going to tell you you're wrong, not today, but to say that anybody should be fired because you lose in Minnesota is just a bit much. It really is. There were a handful of moments that absolutely, I thought, decided this game. Brian Schneider, to me, is the guy who gets nobody talks about Brian Schneider. Brian Schneider has been this team's special teams coach since 2022. And I don't think I have walked away fully impressed by a day of special teams in any game that Kyle Shanahan has ever had Brian Schneider be his special teams coach. I mean, come on. Punt blocked. Second of Wisnowski's career was blocked. Jacob Cowing nearly gave one right back. It was Yadam who jumped on that loose ball and saved the 49ers bacon in that moment. But that was just, unimpressive. Full stop. That was unimpressive. Why does Kyle like to neglect special teams? Iceman 0072. I do not understand how you can be that bad over and over and over again. And the whole oh man, the 49ers really need to have somebody to return these punts and kickoffs. How is that so fucking hard for the San Francisco 49ers? How is it no matter who they decide to do it, that person more than often than not fucks it up? I just don't understand it. I can't comprehend why just fielding a punt or returning a kickoff is so painfully difficult for the 49ers year in, year out, no matter who's asked to do it, no matter what situation puts that player on the field to do that. I watch football. I watch a lot of football games. You know who really doesn't have a ton of difficulty fielding punts or returning kicks? Just about every single college football team in America. I mean, it's crazy how constantly difficult this is about the 49ers. I can't explain it. I really can't explain it. Hargrave does not seem to be worth his contract. Now, that is something we can absolutely talk about. Did Brock Purdy have as many tackles as Javon Hargrave today? Let me see. Did that actually happen? No, Javon Hargrave had 2 tackles. Brock Purdy only had 1. So congratulations to Javon Hargrave, the grave digger. Had 1 more tackle than the starting quarterback. Jordan Elliott wasn't very good today. Yatir Gross-Matos came in. I don't know how many snaps he had, but he didn't do anything. Malik Collins, he was, I thought, halfway decent today. But yeah, no, look, it's not a day where you can say anybody on that defensive line really did their job other than Nick Bosa, who did have a couple of sacks, even though it felt like Darnold straight up ran into him for one of those. The 49ers are not going to go on and win the Super Bowl. I mean, in week 2, you are statistically, no one is definitely targeted and ticketed to go to the Super Bowl right now. It's not the time. Again, broken metronome, not the time to be making declarations like that. I feel that there's just a little bit too much runway still in front of this airplane before we guarantee how quickly it's going to crash. Calm down. Dennis, Chad is serious business here. I mean, what I like most about this channel, and what I hope you like most about this channel, is, look, if you want to go ahead and pull your hair out and overreact, there are channels to do that at. Overreacting to any outcome. Look at it this way. Suppose the 49ers had won this game. Suppose they had won it convincingly. Would you really have thought a 2-0 start and a big win against Minnesota and Sam Darnold? Had the 49ers won today, there'd be a portion of the 49ers fan base saying, well, it was against Sam Darnold, so it doesn't even count. Like, there's some of you who are just going to be impossible to please. And I'm going to tell you that at 2-0 with a win in Minnesota, the 49ers are no closer to a Lombardi trophy, truly, than they are now absolutely too far away from it at 1-1. There are 15 fucking weeks left. I feel that needs to be stressed. There are 15 weeks left. Now's not the time to be giving up on the season. Concerning issues, a few of them today across that offensive line felt like concerning issues. Everyone thought that those concerning issues were going to be what ruined the 49ers, game to the Jets. Didn't happen there. Today, look, Minnesota's good. I think Minnesota is good. Are they great? No. And I didn't think good would be good enough to beat the 49ers, but it was today. But to say that, this is now a referendum on should Brock Purdy be extended or not. I mean, dude, the color commentator in this game, who was working with Kevin Harlan when Kevin Harlan was making a little bit of a transition in between plays, talking about how Brock Purdy is going to be paid more in the upcoming season. And he's like, yeah, I think John Lynch is going to try to extend it. Oh, you think so? Who was his color commentator today? Come on, Friday said Brock did not have a terrible game, but the offense in whole was disjointed. The scheme and the plan looked out of rhythm. There you go. That's a comment worth reading to you because there's actual football acumen being applied to that comment. And you are right. The scheme, the plan, a couple of those, here's the thing. Schemes and plans are usually two things that Kyle suggests you're not going to have to worry about. But today they felt incomplete. Again, when the 49ers get the ball for the very first time and they go 3 and out, just something is not right. By the way, that feels like a sip of the day right there. I needed some coffee. It was a long weekend in Pasadena. Your boy was up at 5 a.m, flying home from Pasadena. I was out till about 1 a.m, so it was a turnaround, to say the least. It was a turnaround. Philip, Don, Michael, Johnson, Thomas. Raiders win, Niners lose, human sacrifices, dogs and cats living together, mass hysteria. They're eating the dogs. They're eating the cats. That's an excellent comment. Philip, Don, Michael, Johnson, Thomas. Yeah, people are saying Purdy was terrible or way too excited. It wasn't a good game, but he wasn't terrible. Again, I don't know if you can have a terrible game throwing for over 300 yards with a rating of 101.3. But it wasn't great. It wasn't a perfect game. You know, it wasn't one of those no notes. Here's my 2 notes. Don't turn the ball over 2 times. Don't be intercepted, but that interception was a tip drill. By the way, if you are looking for a sign that shit's not going to go right for the Niners, I wonder if the 49ers have ever won a game in which Brock Purdy has had a pass batted down at the line of scrimmage. It feels like when Brock is getting passes batted down, they lose that game. And that happened on a 4th and goal. Niners did not have a good play for 4th and goal. It seemed like that's when Jordan Mason was really starting to get his legs running underneath him. So that was an inglorious moment, to say the least. Oh, boy. Purdy, luck is over. Finally. Turbo, do you think they're going to cut him? Turbo, is that what you're saying? Finally, his luck is over. Finally, like now you can move beyond this guy who falls to the embarrassing record of being, what is he, 18-5 now as an NFL starter? Is he 18-5? Is that where he is in his career as a starter? Guy who keeps on taking you deep into postseasons. That's the guy who you finally can get rid of. Okay, Turbo. You know, I guess I remember my first game too. Red Jet, thank you very much. Mario, thank you very much. This is an impressive number. Is this the accurate number here, 510 Steve? I'm not going to do the math. It looks like maybe you already have, but it has been 11,599 days since the 49ers last won in Minnesota. Wow. Wow. And some people doing the fool. Yeah, they're going to be out there today. They're going to be out there today. But again, you know, don't listen to the fools. Listen to Uncle Damon, who's been through about 20 NFL seasons covering the 49ers one way or another. We don't do it on the radio anymore. That's why we can join you at the 2-minute warning. So I hope you hit like and subscribe. I hope you plan on being back here for the 2-minute warning. Damon, this is Ortiz saying new sub. I like what you're saying. We adults here are not panicking on our NFC defending champs. It's only 2 weeks. There's plenty of football. There you go. See, there's a gambling man in Reno, Nevada. Good to have you in the house, Reno. Now, here's some analysis I'm not going to disagree with. Flores killed us. I was talking to Kruger on Friday during Wake Up. Should be an interesting Wake Up starting at 9 a.m. Larry and I co-streaming on our channels. Flores killed you. And I said I was worried about what worries you the most in this game? Larry asked me, and I said Brian Flores worries me the most in this game. And Brian Flores' blitz worried the 49ers offensive line all day. All day. But again, to those of you who are new in here, welcome. Thank you for being here. All of the, regulars that we got in here, I see you all. Thank you so very, very much. For those dropping super chats, thank you very much. Memberships are available. And as always, I ask you to take care of my sponsors, those who take care of me. Real quick, our friends at BetUS right now are offering 150% on the first 3 deposits up to $2,000 by using promo code BETUS. My man Ike has a delicious sandwich, literally with my name on it. You can go in and order a Damon Bruce at any Ike's location. You're going to want to put me in your mouth. You're going to want to try a Damon Bruce. I insist on it. As a matter of fact, use the Ike's app, download it, and you'll be happy that you did. And I got crazy love from my boys at the Dubliner West Portal. Fantastic neighborhood bar in a fantastic San Francisco neighborhood, and they're my kind of guys. So you can support the channel by supporting my sponsors, and you can certainly support the channel by liking and subscribing. So thank you very, very much. It just helps the, live stream get pushed to more places, and I appreciate that when you guys can help the live stream out. Look, Christian McCaffrey is not going to be coming in to save the day for a while, because the big news over the weekend is that Christian McCaffrey got moved to IR. I'll tell you, that sounds like it would be, you're asking for a whole bunch of trouble. And maybe in a way it went into the soup of losing this game, but I don't think that the 49ers had been preparing for Christian McCaffrey to really come back out and help. I don't believe Kyle's assessment of where McCaffrey was in his injury. I think the 49ers did try to underplay the McCaffrey injury because he got hurt at the beginning of training camp, and now he's going to be out through at least week 5, week 6. That's a serious injury. And I think the 49ers did downplay its severity. Obviously, the league took a little bit of a look at that situation, that awkward situation that Jordan Mason found himself in after Monday Night Football when he was being quizzed. When did you know you were going to play? When did you know you were going to start? Does that mean that the 49ers were masking the severity of Christian McCaffrey's injury? Here's the thing. Mask, unmask, I don't give a shit. It ain't good that Christian McCaffrey is hurt severely. But Jordan Mason's a starting NFL back. Jordan Mason can start for any team that decides this guy's going to be our starter. He's that good. He looks that good. Can he be the, Swiss Army knife that Christian McCaffrey has defined his career being? I don't think so, but he is a power back, man. He had, and I even put out a YouTube short on it during the game. He had a run that he turned into like a 3.5 yard gain that could have easily been a 5-6 yard loss. He got hit and would have been buried in the backfield, but he just kept on coming and wiggling and fighting out of traffic, through traffic, to fall forward. I thought it was his most impressive run of the day, and he even had Jordan Mason had a long one today he had a 22-yard run. How about Isaac Guerendo getting a very early in the game carry, it going for 0 yards, and then we didn't see Isaac Guerendo again. Where is Patrick Taylor? Where is he? And whenever any team in football sees Deebo getting a handoff in the backfield, they are all over it. I mean, that is officially fooling nobody in this league right now. To use Deebo in the running game as anything more than a decoy almost feels like it's hurting the Niners more than it's helping the Niners right now. So that ain't good. Special teams is the weakness. It is a weakness, for sure. Michael Diaz says, Damon, Kyle called a bad game as well. Play calling was terrible in this game. It's like Kyle gets lost in game situations. Vibes. I mean, look, the whole coming down to the wire, he should have kicked the field goal to leave himself a little bit more time. Yeah, he had to burn a couple early timeouts that I thought that sucks that you got to call a timeout right there. It wasn't a good day. Just was not a good day. Viking Jerome, who was guaranteeing Minnesota victories. You know what, Viking Jerome? You go ahead and victory lap your shit all over this chat today. I'm not going to stop you. I'm not going to block you. I'm not going to cut you off. I don't know if you would have been in here had they lost, but you get to victory lap your prediction. I thought that it was just a day where Darnold flipped the field with his 97-yard touchdown pass. The 49ers were not crisp, and they just did not dominate on the line of scrimmage. They got dominated on the line of scrimmage. There's your scrimmage domination. You gave up 6 quarterback sacks. I do hear, was it bad game plan? Bad coaching? Bad play sequencing? If that's what you want to call it all of that, fine, sure, okay. I'm good with that. You gave up 6 sacks. There's not a lot of teams that give up 6 sacks in a game they deserve to win. Had the 49ers miraculously pulled this one out of their ass, deserved to win would have not been written up into anybody's game summary. We got Hassan W. Like, seriously, the Ravens just lost to the Raiders, for crying out loud. At home. Anybody who tells you this should be an easy win for blank should be the first person you no longer go to for your football information. Anyone who frames any element of success in the National Football League as easy to achieve and accomplish has no idea what they're talking about. Nothing is easy in this league. Nothing. And certainly today's game was not easy for the San Francisco 49ers. Hey, Damon, 1-1 is first place. Is it? I've seen the results around the rest of the league. Have we got all results? I don't even know. We won't worry about that right now. It's a little too early in the year to be worried about a loss or to be gloating about standings. Second game. Take a breath. Thank you, Leslie. Thank you very much. Again, so we do have Viking Jerome victory lapping. Go ahead. Damon, we need speed in this offense, not being negative. No, that's not a negative statement. That is a correct statement. Deebo is not the speediest of wide receivers, but he's a house, and he had a good day today. Brandon Ayuk did not get the job done this afternoon, although he had a better day than here's the thing. Brandon Ayuk you did not feel Brandon Ayuk in this game. And anyway, he did have 4 catches for 43 yards, but you did not feel Brandon Ayuk in this game. Juwan Jennings is a fan favorite, but I think he's still like a better story than he is, this Weapon X that you can use. And he is, decidedly not a fast receiver just based on 40 times. But again, he's got football speed. I'm not saying he's a bad player in any way, shape, or form, but the guy's brought in to be speed demons. I don't know if Jacob Cowing ran a single offensive play today. I know he was out there nearly fumbling away a punt return, but I don't know if he ran a single offensive snap today. I'll have to look at the snap counts when they come in. And Danny Gray, again, his nickname is The Rumor. Danny Gray is a football player that is only a rumor. I've never actually seen him. I don't know if he really exists, to be totally honest with you. A little bit more speed? Yeah, I mean, what football team cannot use more speed? Rodman, you're not hating anything. You're not saying anything out of pocket there. You're right. The Niners, They like beefy run after catch receivers more than they've been able to identify the burner who's, just like Justin Jefferson, able to just run past everybody, especially if you got two safeties. He ran past Odom, and then the over-the-top safety help was Jair Brown, and Jair Brown did not help. And they even showed it on the replay. Justin Jefferson gave him like one stutter step. He bit on it, and then Jefferson just turned it up. And look, Sam Darnold threw a gorgeous ball. Gorgeous ball. I still think the best ball that Darnold threw was at the 7-minute mark when he found Jalen Naylor just in a laser beam on the back shoulder right in the middle of the field. That was gorgeous. I thought the best pass of the afternoon from Purdy is when he found Deebo with his heels on the sidelines there. The play that they actually reviewed, and it was still a catch, 49ers. But that was, I thought, Deebo. It was one of Deebo's better plays because he found himself, got open, and stayed there, presented a target. And the fact that Purdy found him, that was nice. Wasn't a day of great football, though. All the way around. Dub B Tree, the Vikings are strong in the trenches. I'm not going to argue with that today. Definitely not going to argue with that one today. Kurt the Chameleon saying Ayuk was a no-show. He was certainly ineffective. You did not feel Brandon Ayuk's presence in this game, and the truth is it'll probably be another week or two until you do. Just not a good day. Not a good day, but I don't know where you can blame an awful, like, whose fault is it? Whose fault is it? Well, your quarterback got sacked 6 times. You're going to lose a lot of football games when that happens. That's 6 precious downs being recorded for negative yards. Hazy Day. I don't know who I'm ripping on here, but give him a break. The kid is probably 14. Hey, if you're 14 years old, you should know that panicking after a week 2 loss is stupid. Just everybody wants to look like they're the angriest, toughest. It's we live in a world of extremes. We live in a world of extremes, and only extreme gets attention. Like, didn't we have a vice presidential candidate basically say, like, yeah, we totally made up that shit about eating the dogs and eating the cats, but we did it because we knew you'd pay attention to it. And boy, you guys took the fucking bait, hook, line, and sinker. And an awful lot of people in the media did. I'm not going Fiesta Politico here at all, but we live in a world of extremes, and extremes get the attention. So that's why everybody's trying to be so extreme. You cannot be ready to flush a season after 8 quarters of football. For heaven's sakes. I mean, grant me that, right? We got Barry from Memphis saying, man, no worries. We weren't fully manned. An entire season lies ahead. I mean, you pretty much were fully manned. Outside of Christian McCaffrey, he's the only real significant wasn't out there. You want to say Talanoa Hufanga was a scratch? Okay, sure. Those are 2 starters. Jair had a bad day today. Gave up a big play today, but he's not a bad player. Malik Mustafa. He got out there today. I saw him make a few plays. Must be trouble. So just beat the Rams next week and all will be forgiven. The Rams are down 21 to the Cardinals. Hold on, I got to take a look at that. Is that what's happening right now? I got to bring up some scores around the league here to see what's going on. How about the Dallas Cowboys today? It's getting housed by the Saints. Let's see, how many games we got underway? Well, you are right. The Cardinals are up 21-3 on the Rams. Cardinals are at home. We got a Sunday nighter between Bears and Texans coming up a little bit later. Packers, they won today. There's a team to keep an eye on because they could be a team that you run into in the postseason. Packers, again, won a game with a backup. You know, every single time the Packers win a game without Jordan Love starting it, their fan base should almost counted for 2 wins. You know, the team that the 49ers beat in week 1 turns around and gets a road win today. The New York Jets win in Tennessee 24-17. Seahawks did get the win. Seahawks are now 2-0. So 1-1 is not at the top of the division. Sorry, everyone. Ooh, Chargers put it on the Panthers. Biggest shocker of the day is the Raiders. 26-23 in Baltimore. I mean, everybody had the Raiders starting 0-2. Everybody had the Raiders starting 0-2. It felt like a couple of scheduled losses to open the season to the Harbaugh brothers. You got Jim in his NFL debut, and they did lose. They did lose that one. Then they go to Baltimore. You figure John and the Ravens, who are already sitting at 0-1, are going to have a little something for you after losing opening night, that Thursday nighter at Arrowhead. No, Ravens are 0-2. The Ravens are 0-2. Do you think everybody in Baltimore is ready to get rid of Lamar and Harbaugh? There is less panic in Baltimore after an 0-2 start than there is in San Francisco after a 1-1 start. And I really believe that's because people in Baltimore have shoveled driveways and have used ice scrapers. They're just a tougher people. Some of y'all too soft. Much love, DB. Raiders out. That was, you know, like, I don't know if the Raiders will be able to tack a game onto the, you know, impressive win. Will the Raiders have a more impressive win than winning in Baltimore this year? We got a lot to watch. A lot of football game. You know, pro football focus grades. I'm sure people are already wringing their hands for that one. Jim Faison says, our most expensive players did not come through for the 49ers today. George Kittle is expensive. He came through. Deebo came through. Fred Warner certainly came through. He's the only guy you could even think of giving a game ball to. But Trent Williams had a bad game. And Nick Bosa had a couple of sacks, but Ayuk did not get felt in this game, and neither did Trent Williams. Neither did Trent Williams. Trent Williams had a bad game today. Okay. What else we got going on here? I thought the communication in the secondary was just bad. It was a day, if I can borrow a phrase from Steve Kerr, head coach of the Golden State Warriors, who always talks about connectivity. Our team was really connected today. 49ers were not really connected today. Didn't look like it, didn't feel like it, didn't play like it. So it was not a day of connections. Arizona is going to be a problem, says Ricardo. Let me tell you this, Ricardo, they're going to be a problem for the 49ers. And the 49ers always, no matter what the Cardinals are supposed to be, the 49ers play down to the Cardinals. It feels like every single time they see them. The Cardinals will probably be a win over the Niners that someone will be panicking about a little bit later on in the year too. But yeah, right now, I would say they're probably going to split that 2-game series. Must Be Trouble wants to know whether or not Ayuk can help out in pass protection. Do something. Do something, because he did not affect the game today. Sugarnut says, hey, Damon, Baltimore fans also had a team stolen from them. Yeah, that'll put a little hair on your chest, I think, as a football fan. From Imperial One, Vikings were not given enough credit for coming into this game by 49ers fans, and the Vikings did it without their first-round draft quarterback. They lost their wide receiver 1 in the third quarter. They didn't have their wide receiver 2 or their tight end 1, and Ayuk is overrated. I'm arguing with none of that right now. I don't know if Brandon Ayuk is overrated, but overpaid when you perform like that, that follows you. That follows you around. Brandon Ayuk, now that he's making $30 million a year, he plays like this, he will be properly motherfucked by 49er fans. Properly. You can't say I'm worth $30 million a year and go in there and have a Trent Taylor level game. Can't do that. Brian, not connected is right. One part of the team can be blamed. That was a team loss. No one part of the team can be blamed. Yeah, it was an underperformance everywhere. Everywhere you look, there's underperformance, right? I don't know if this is one of those, 90% of all statistics are being made up 74% of the time. But if you get a punt block 90% of the time, you're going to lose. Not surprised after that putrid tone was established. The 49ers were playing from behind, and if you want to say, well, they're better front runners than they are at making up ground, I'll give you that. I think that also can be applied to an awful lot of teams, but you're right. How many times do football teams win on the road when they have a punt blocked, the quarterback just fumbles the ball away, just right out of his hand? How many times can you turn the ball over twice, have your quarterback get sacked 6 times, and have a punt blocked on the road and win? I don't think you can see that very often. Purdy's protection was awful. His offensive line was not his friend. That fumble where the ball just came out of his hand, that wasn't anybody's fault but Brock's. That was 100% on Brock, man. He was not touched when he dropped that ball. Hey, at least Brandon Ayuk's avoiding injuring himself. Yeah, you got that going. Purdy tip drill interception, that wasn't very good. It was a day at halftime. At halftime, I said it's a miracle they're only down 6. It was a miracle that they were only down 6 at halftime. Seriously. T-Flow says, according to Mile High Report, the blocking team wins 90% of the time in cases where a punt is blocked. Okay, is that Mile High Report? Okay. Who is Mile High Report? But anyways, okay. You know what? Again, I wasn't ready to argue with it strongly, but 90% of anything is a huge percentage. So it just shows you, don't get your punts blocked. Pedro Hernandez, just stuffing one in the ganja jar. Thank you very much, Pedro. I appreciate that. And let me just tell you, it was a long weekend in Pasadena. It was one of my, I know that no Niner fan is happy with what they saw at all today. Let me just tell you how happy I was as a football fan at the Rose Bowl on Saturday, watching my Hoosiers welcome UCLA to the Big Ten with an ass whooping that I was every UCLA fan I walk past, I'm like, if you think this is bad, wait until Ohio State gets here. Wait until you meet the Ohio State Buckeyes. You're going to like the Big Ten money. You're not going to like the Big Ten consequences. If Indiana is kicking your ass in your Big Ten opener, but all of a sudden, dude, my Hoosiers might have a little something going for them. We'll see. We'll see. But I had about as much fun as I've had at a football game in 20, 30 years. as I did yesterday. I didn't even know what to do. Like at the end of the game, Indiana is up 42-13. Is that what the final was? I was looking at my friends. I'm like, I don't know what to do with my hands. I don't know what to do. What happens when you're up this big on the road in conference play? Do we celebrate? Like, should we just start smoking weed right here in the Rose Bowl? Do we go out? Do we have to wait till we get back to the hotel to do that? What do we do? What's the protocol? I'm not familiar with Indiana dominating football games. So I had a hell of a game yesterday. I had a hell of a day yesterday. No 49er fan had a hell of a day. And let me tell you, that field had an awful lot of red in it. You know, Vikings fans aren't the kind of fans who give up their tickets to out-of-towners. But there was an awful lot of red in that stadium. And the Niners took advantage of none of it. Thanks again to Pedro. The Niners have a batting down problem. I really do. I need like somebody who tracks really, really random statistics, like my man Josh Dubow, ATP writer. How many times have the 49ers won a game in which Brock Purdy had a pass batted down at the line of scrimmage? Because I feel like that's one of those omens. It's not going to be your day. DVD says, man, gonna listen podcast style. Have a good one, everyone. DV. Thanks very much. We got a man who prefers to be remain nameless. Says, if you thought the roster was going 17-0, you're the biggest 49er dick licker of all times. D. Bruce, oh my God, I love you. See, he's a little bit late in today's show, so he's just getting some of the good stuff. Hey, stick around for lines like that all season long. I can tell you we're going to be about as brutally honest as anybody, but we're not going to be so brutally slave to a moment that we think that after 8 quarters of football, an entire football season is worth being written off. But this was a bad day. This was a day unbecoming of the 49ers' ultimate goal of being one of the best teams in football. This was an unbecoming afternoon of football. They were sloppy. They were disjointed. They were unconnected. It was a bad day from the coaches. It was a bad day from the players. I don't know who really did the job that they were asked to do today outside of Jordan Mason and Fred Warner. And honestly, Sam Darnold. Sam Darnold has an awful friendly target in Justin Jefferson for sure. But you got to give, you can't give up a 97-yard touchdown to Sam Darnold. Billy Bong, I hear you, but they didn't give that up to Sam Darnold. They gave that up to Justin Jefferson, and Justin Jefferson is going to be around kicking much ass for a very long time. Like Justin Jefferson, I don't know where he's going for dinner tonight, but if that guy stays healthy, he's probably going to the Hall of Fame. You know, there's a reason why he's making money, the kind of money that he makes. Justin Jefferson is now the 3rd fastest wide receiver in NFL history to 400 career catches. It only took him 62 games to get to 400 career catches. By the way, Odell Beckham Jr., who was, you know, the darling of this league's wide receiver class, and then it faded fast. But he got there in 61 games. Michael Thomas got there in 56 games. 56 games. Damon, I think today's a good day to Instapot a brisket dinner and relax. Thank you very much. Do you Instapot the brisket? To me, brisket's got to be smoked, grilled. I'm not a slow cooker brisket guy. But whatever you need to get through this day, you do it. You absolutely do this. I think Brock had 2 turnovers last year in Minnesota in that loss, and he had 2 turnovers today. A couple of other things before we put the final touches on a little post-game and Damon here. Just a couple of things. I need the NFL media to understand the difference between the phrase carted off the field and carted to the locker room, because those are not the same. I saw a tweet come up, George Kittle carted off the field. I'm like, am I watching the same game as everyone? Did I hit like pause on the DVR and I'm like several minutes behind and I haven't caught up yet? Did I miss George Kittle getting carted off the football field? George Kittle needed an IV. And so to make that happen as fast as possible, George Kittle hopped on a cart. And what was it was, I mean, unless you're telling me he was carted off the field, like he was laying there, they brought a cart out and broke. Like, no, I think he was carted from the sideline to the locker room just to make it go fast. NFL media, there is a difference between carted to the locker room or carted off the field. So let's please do that. I was like, what just happened? And the answer was nothing. Nothing dramatic there happened. It was the 100th career game for George Kittle, by the way, 100th regular season game. So congratulations to George Kittle for that. Too bad it wasn't dotted with a win. It was a pretty good day for Kevin O'Connell. It was not a good day for Kyle Shanahan or his coaches, who decided to guard Justin Jefferson with two slower safeties, which is probably the wrong way to go about doing that. Bad day once again for Brian Schneider and special teams. I will say this. I mean, I don't know. Do you make a big impact by firing a guy in week 2? But Brian Schneider, your unit, your special teams unit is consistently, like by the week, unimpressive. It really is. It really is. I don't understand why the 49ers have made the task of just fielding a punt some Herculean effort when it's truly like a routine play for high school teams. Fielding a punt is a routine play for high school teams. It really is. The 49ers treat it like, you know, it's a game-winning drive in a Super Bowl. Every single punt. Like, come on. Like, this is not, you guys make it look harder than it should be. You make it look harder than it is for any other team in the NFL. Deebo, again, decent day catching the ball, but what is he doing, like, kind of half-heartedly taking it out of the end zone? What are you doing there? And then you had the, on that return that didn't go anywhere, you had a holding on Renardo Green, and then very next play, you false start for Trent. Trent Williams today, you were silverback nothing. Trent Williams did not have a good game. I bet you the 49ers do not win a lot of football games where we say the sentence out loud, Trent Williams didn't play well today. Fred Warner, you get a game ball. Jordan Mason, you get half a game ball. And no one else really deserves anything else. No one deserves anything else. Let's see. I think the very last note that I made. Well, so here's the thing. Moments that changed the outcome of this game. The Vikings block punt, obviously, right there. 4th and goal. Purdy looked for Juwan Jennings, but the ball was deflected. That was the line of scrimmage turnover, basically. Then you had the 97-yard touchdown to Justin Jefferson. Then the only thing that really kept the Niners in this game was Fred Warner intercepting the ball and peanut punching the ball. It looked like he made it. That interception looked like it was stopping a drive that was about to at least be a field goal, if not worse. And then he literally single-handedly prevented a touchdown by causing Jones to fumble that ball. Fred Warner is incredible. I mean, he really is. He's incredible. I think that he can be named Defensive Player of the Year. I've been saying that all year. I think this could be a year where Fred could be in the Defensive Player of the Year conversation. He was great last weekend. He was spectacular this week. Well, last Monday night. He was good this weekend. So it looked like Fred Warner's interception and then peanut punch might keep the Niners in this game enough to save them in this game. I think I even tweeted like Fred Warner just ran into a burning building to prevent the 49ers from dying in the fire right now. Like he kept the game alive. But then you had that tip drill interception by the Vikings, Metellus with the pick, Cashman with the tip. That gave them basically a field position touchdown. And it was 20-7 Vikings right there when Mooney let Jalen Naylor right behind him. I mean, you can't get more wide open than Jalen Naylor was right there. And then another big play when it was just about like, hey, man, let's kill some clock. Let's make sure the 49ers, who this is a 2-possession game for them. Let's give them the least amount of time to make up a 2-possession situation. He had his best pass of the day, even a better pass than to Justin Jefferson, was that 27-yard strike with about 7 minutes to play in the fourth quarter to Naylor. It was a back shoulder laser. And it was Darnold's best ball, I really thought, of the day. And that was you got to get off the field right now if you're going to do anything here magical at the end of this game. And nope. I think they converted 3 third downs on the way to beating the 49ers when the 49ers had to do something to get that ball back quickly. Craig's Kitchen has now been a member for 2 months. He is part of the uninitiated. He says, I recommend you all sign up as members to be part of the initiated. Well, not only do you get cool little stars in the chat to show everyone that you are an OG, but it's a great way to support the channel. Thank you so much for supporting this channel. Hit like and subscribe, and please support my sponsors, my good friend Ike of Ike Sandwiches, my good friends at the Dubliner in West Portal. I've been telling you about these helmets. You got a little miniature, any helmet that you could ever think of, pro, college, mini helmet, replica helmet, real helmet. Go to greengridiron.com and use promo code Bruce on your checkout, and make sure that you use promo code YouTube150 when you go over to BetUS. Check out BetUS, who is powering this live stream. Thanks so much to BetUS, offering 150% on the first 3 deposits for up to $2,000 just by using the promo code Crusader Rabbit. Peanut punching? That's a peanut brain phrase. No, Peanut Tillman of the Chicago Bears, longtime corner, perfected the peanut punch. That's what it's named after. Again, I know some of you just started watching football last week, so that's why you're going to come back here, because we're going to teach you things, Crusader Rabbit. Guess what? We do more than just watch one team. And because I got a little gray in my hair, you can believe that I will give you the perspective that you so clearly lacked. Peanut punch, peanut brain phrase. Tell me you just got here. Tell me you just got here. Come on. Actually, you did. You just told me you got here. How those Bears going to do tonight? I got no idea. I got no idea. But if you got an inkling, go to BetUS. Again, I was in Pasadena going hard all week, so that's about it for me. I'm going to invite you back to Wake Up at 9 a.m., brought to you by Sam's Chatterhouse. Yours truly, Larry Krueger, co-streaming on both of our channels. I'll be live again at 11 West Coast time. That's 9 a.m. West Coast time and 11 a.m. West Coast time tomorrow morning, reacting to what we just saw. And look, man, what we just saw was not good. What we just saw was not good. If you're ready to flush the season, please do not like and subscribe to this channel, because this channel's not for you. You are a bit of an overreacting fan who doesn't know much about really how to be a fan or understand sports, and maybe you should go try on soap operas or pick up a book. Take a walk outside, because sitting on the couch watching football might not be for you if you're ready to panic after a 1-1 start. That's all I can tell you. Today was not good. Crusader Rabbit Bears. Yeah, there's a team in the NFL called the Chicago Bears. It's good to have you. It really is. Thanks to all of you for tuning in. Thanks for the super chats, the likes, subscribes. If you haven't dropped a like on this show on your way out, I would appreciate it, but we'd appreciate it a little bit more earlier in the show for sure. But on the way out does the show good as well. Thank you very much for tuning in. Please do remember that sports don't build character. They reveal it. And like that, he's gone. Whew.